This is a church that's saved a nation's shame, a solitary edifice that enshrines the memory of a famous Welshman and his forgotten heroism more than half a world away at the base of the globe. One has to look closely to find even this modest memorial. But if there was to be anything to commemorate this international hero, one might justifiably expect it to be here, because it was at Rhosili, this unadventurous village, that Edgar Evans, sailor, explorer, and human legend, was born 91 years ago. Even now, 66 years after Captain Robert Falcon Scott, with Edgar Evans and the rest of his team of explorers extraordinary, first penetrated the frozen heartland of the South Pole, there's still an indissoluble link between Rosili and Antarctica. Here, if nowhere else, Edgar Evans, the naval petty officer, the adventurer, and the man, is remembered as a living page in the history of world exploration. Evans won his place in the honored archives of the nation's history on his second expedition with Scott to the Pole in 1910. It was very much a Welsh adventure. Scott's ship, the Terra Nova, set out with all the trappings of glory from the dockside at Cardiff. There were 2 Welshmen in the 7-man crew. The expedition, inevitably spiced with high adventure, was launched primarily as a serious scientific quest. Reaching the pole was only of secondary importance. The upshot was that Scott's discoveries themselves became a monument to him and his stoicism in the face of vicious blizzards, cruel frosts, and inhuman privations. Yet Edgar Evans, the man of almost legendary strength, the man who was given the task of managing the sledges and their equipment across the vast ice cap, has nothing to perpetuate his memory or his exploits. Nothing, that is, except the modest plaque here in Rhosili Church, a memorial placed here and paid for by his widow Lois with part of her meagre pension. Even if Wales has unaccountably forgotten its hero, Edgar Evans didn't forget Wales. In Antarctica, this awful place, as Scott described it, Evans honored his country by naming one of the wasteland's physical features, the Wales Glacier. Yet, curiously, the lack of a tangible national memorial may be the greatest tribute of all to Edgar Evans, sailor supreme. By a strange paradox, his forgotten memory may well have added martyrdom to heroism.
Peter Scott, of course, has lived in the legend of his father all his life. Though it is a coincidence, isn't it, Mr. Scott, that you are here on the anniversary of the death of Edgar Evans?
Yes, indeed. I came here to open an exhibition about the World Wildlife Fund.
Now, tell me something, if you can, please, about the expedition, the last fatal expedition. Edgar Evans wasn't the man who walked out of the tent and said, "I think I'm going for a walk," was he?
No, that was Captain Oates. No, he was the only petty officer amongst a group of officers, which was a slightly tricky situation psychologically for him, I think. He was taken on to the pole rather at the last minute, making a party of 5 instead of a party of 4, which was, again, a little bit of a difficulty. He was only, I think, taken on because my father thought that he was the most tremendously competent and strong and splendid man.
Over the years, the legend has grown up that all these men were heroic, that they died heroes' deaths. Do you believe that they were courageous, that they were very, very brave?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm perhaps not the right person to ask because my father was also involved, but I think that they did something very splendid.
The memory of your father, Captain Scott, has been perpetuated all over the world. Everybody's heard about Captain Scott. Are you rather surprised that Edgar Evans has been virtually ignored in his homeland?
Extremely surprised and shocked to hear it, and I'm delighted that this has been, to some extent, at any rate, put right, and I think it should even more so be put right. I mean, in the future, I would like to feel that Welsh people had a great pride in this great man.